Good evening and welcome back to my channel. So another update on the Halafa fighter. I actually have gone through some thought process here. I think I might just start calling this thing a Medusa, but you know we'll get to that later. So obviously this is a lot different from my last update. I did not have an opportunity to do much videoing over the weekend and the last week while I was doing the work I needed to do. So I just got into it, and this is where I got the basic shaping and so forth done, and now I am starting on the camo and the decals. So of the camo that I had seen, I really like the yellow and tan, like what I did for the pilot. And you know, there's a couple of pictures I've seen of F4s that have a similar. So I will throw one of those pictures up right now. Yeah, so I wanted to go with something like that. It was my thought that the terrain that this fighter would work over is going to be sort of a have this kind of a background, and I like the look. I like something new, and I like it. It's different, you know. It's got a different feel. It's got a different look to it. So I actually broke out the airbrush and did the camo. I did do a test bed on the Spitfire, and I've been using this as something of a mule to test out different techniques. So I tested out the camo. I mean, you can see it's the similar camo. This one I brushed on, and I did the hardline camo with it. With this one, obviously, I went with a soft line, and I think, you know, I like this look better. The other thing I did is I do have some custom printed decals, and I tested this out and it looks okay. I'm not overly happy with them. You know, it is what it is. But don't have a lot of them. I only have a few. So I have the two on the outer wings, the tail here, and the tail and the number here. This I really don't like. I started to scratch it off, and I'm damaging this up, so I'm going to weather this and scratch it. So this fighter is going to have seen better days when I get done with it. And yes, I did this on purpose. I intentionally put the Raven on one side and Halaf, the symbol, on the other. And I may well. The issue I had here is you can see that the number plate, the numbers call out that I had on the other one, the other side came up. So I have one more. I will attempt to put that one on, and we'll see how that goes. And the nameplate, that's the other custom one, and all the rest of these are coming from the and the front unit symbol. All the rest are coming from the F4, and so when I get done with all of this, I will put all F4 decals on them, all the little placards, all the little call outs, just to get this detailed up, and then we will move on with sealing it, painting it, weathering it, and going from there. So in general, this is where we are. We've got the underside. I have missile mounts here. We have the two cannons. The barrels are going to be brought back down from the camouflage color to a metallic color. I will leave the pods the same color. We're going to shade in here, so I'm not worried about that the airbrush did not get in there. I'm not overly happy with this, but it is going to be on the underside, so I'm not too worried about it. I have to finish doing the shading for the exhausts, and then of course the landing gear rear wells, landing gear, and so forth. I am going with the external fuel tanks, as you can see, because I have them. I like the look again, it's one of those, it's got that F4 Phantom massive look to it. Of course, these are not going to be nice and let me show them off because they don't just stick in there well. Yeah, this one here. And if it'll just sit, we'd be all right. So let's see if I can get it to just sort of stick for the time being. There we go. So I like that look, the look it gives. You know, again, this is my design and whatever, so, you know, whatever. Things. The shaping was a chore, but it was entertaining. And then the painting is really kind of was more fun than I thought. I haven't used an airbrush in years, so this was a first to give it a try. So obviously there is a lot of finishing up the details I have with the pilot and the cockpit and everything. Fixing up, touching up, and doing all that before I put the top on. A whole lot of weathering. I really think I'm going to do this thing as, you know, it's a resistance fighter, so it's going to be battered, it's going to be beaten, it's going to be abused, it's going to be scratched and messed up, because this thing operates from a base, not like a nice airstrip. It's operating from a resistance airfield. It moves around, hidden in barns and whatever. The whole concept about this fighter is it's a easy to maintain, easy to get launched and turned around type of aircraft. So that's kind of the look I'm going for. I have sort of a story in mind about this aircraft, and when I build kits, I have stories. So I have something of a story about this aircraft, the design of the aircraft, how it was used, how it was intended to be used, how it ended up being used, that kind of thing. And I will eventually write that up. But I did want to post a little bit of an update on where I was. I've intentionally gone with a modeled. I did not make the color solid. So there's shading and modeling that's in both the base coat and the camo, and it's that way on purpose. Again, looking to get a worn look to it, and then once all the weathering gets into the panel, pull out the panel lines that I've put in there and all the other things there. I'm hoping that will augment the whole concept here. So there's a whole lot of detailing I need to do still, but this is how far I have come. Here's a landing gear. It's based up. I've got the first layer of shading and coloring put on it. Some more shading that needs to go. Once I get the base details on the upper part decaled, I'll end up putting the wheels on so that I can then work on it. Thing is, with me, I know I've got fingers and I'm going to break things. So right now, the current state that it's in is pretty much my best. I'm least likely to break something, which is why I don't have these on. It also helps me. It also lets me get into the areas underneath here, through here. Gets the missiles there. I will have. Where are they? Here we go. The missiles will mount here, and these are set so that they would be away from the thing. So I will have missiles here. We do have these missiles here for these hard points. So once I get all those done up and cleaned up and made pretty and so forth. So like I said, there's a whole crap ton of weathering I still need to do, but can't do the weathering until I get done with getting the decals on and doing all that, because the decals have to come first. So that's where I am. That's how far I've come. Again, I hope that you're enjoying the trip, and that this inspires you to pick something up and give it a try. If there's ever anything, you've been like, hey, maybe I should try that. Well, go ahead, give it a try. The worst thing can happen. You have some plastic that you made an attempt with. So thank you very much, and I will talk to you the next time.